Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. Hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. I have a few topics I want to talk about. And so my main topic is going to be the hard journey and the understanding of why I had to go through, and you have to go through, really tough times. It's for a reason. I know it's for a reason. And in my own life, I'll just say this before I even get to this. As if you know my story, you understand that the things I went through were probably a lot worse than most people. And I often question that, but anyways, I understand why. I understand what can come out of it. I don't usually make videos at this time standing up here. Editing I do when I sit down, but I wanted to also talk about, like I'm working with dementia patients. I've been doing that for 3 months. I've been doing that for 3 months now, and I was actually feeding a person with dementia today. It was really strange. I just said, can I help you guys in any way? I went in the kitchen, said, can I help you guys in any way? And he said, feed her and make sure she doesn't get up. Anyways, it's very rewarding. But I want to give you my opinions on dementia in society. I think you'll find it interesting, and I want to talk. I don't want to become political, but seeing as how Donald Trump is the Antichrist, go look back at my videos to understand. If you're a Trump supporter, I believe the information that has come out I think there's quite a few people coming to the light, many different proofs, and I'm not talking I'm talking scriptural proofs that you can pair together and see it. You can see by the signs he makes with his hands and the inverted fertility triangle, his building that he lives in. It goes on and on. The Trump bill, the Trump space. Now it's tariffs. So I don't want to become political, but seeing as how I know is the Antichrist, how he treats people, how he calls people names, I live in Canada, so you can understand why already. I'm going to give my opinion on what I think it is, and it's just, you know what? My economy Canadian economy could go downhill because of this. But it would also, I think it would take a pretty heavy hit on the United States, seeing as we're the state's biggest trading partner. You know that? The biggest trading partner. And I just heard something that we're no longer, seen in the same way we are. I understand why, because it was just because of one man and the government that he ran, which is Justin Trudeau. We were always the first people in the world, the nicest people. We still are, but all the policies that they started to do made us look bad, and it broke our economy. We make 60% of what the States does. Yeah. And can you imagine the housing? The average house price all across Canada, which is huge, is $730,000. And we make 60% of the average of what you guys make in the States. Anyways, I'll get to that. I just spray painted by hand, with like a lacquer, Tamiya lacquer, doing that AC Cobra. I just did that, just came back from that. Just give me a sec here. I'm going to take you back a bit I just went on a long walk. You know, I get excited to make these videos when I'm not going through a kidney stone. I changed my diet. I still eat those egg whites in the morning, but like my other two, I eat many different meals because of abdominal disorders. And in any case, I was able to switch that part of my diet, which is really good. Excited to make these videos. When I think of how long ago I started to study and do this stuff, I remember it began off being very angry at Sharia law. And where I live in Canada, they were wanting to build mosques and all that type of stuff, and it really bothered me. And I, you know, looking in Europe and looking at all these different places where they have no-go zones and all that, I could see it starting to happen in Canada, and that really bothered me. And it brought me to a point where I literally phoned one of the mosques to debate them. I got a lady on the phone. I'm serious. I got a lady on the phone. I wasn't rude or anything, but she's like, you know, you'll change when God comes into your heart. And I just remember feeling like completely disarmed. Anyways, she was in the wrong belief system anyways, but she had the right idea. Physically, I'm a very uncomfortable person. I have a very difficult life. It's a very difficult balance. Some things I go through can be catastrophic to every other thing I suffer with. And I mean that, catastrophic. I remember when I got this, I had robbed from me at least a year of my life. I could barely even walk. I went through absolute hell. I know it attacked my heart. Left me with a permanent gallbladder disorder. Took away a lot of my lucidity. These are the things that I've been through, okay? Those types of things. I find that in my life, you know, when they talk about isolation and stuff like that, I believe that happened to me. You know, that woman, she betrayed me. Those types of things. You know, I had to learn that. You know, like, I had to learn my boundaries all over again. I had to learn what people were like. But this is the most important lesson I have for you right here. I work with my hands almost from the time I get up until the time I go to bed. I love working with my hands. And like video editing, university articles, model cars, whatever. I love doing it. And it instills a confidence inside of you. It really does, to have something to do, to study the Bible. You know, wake up, just the first thing I do is read the Bible, because I think it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying everyone can do that, but I choose to do that so because of the difficult life I live and because of the things I go through. I want God first, right? If you put God first in your life, He will answer your prayers. That's what I believe. So why did I, like, I think it's a common theme throughout the body of Christ for born again believers to, it's almost like we're set up to go through hard times, right? You feel pressures from family, you feel all around the board, everything you deal with in your life. And I don't know. Here's my main message of this. Like Peter says, Peter and Paul, you know, these things build character. when you're put through a hard time, it helps you build resilience, right? You build resilience. Pardon me, I got a pace. This is one of the reasons I don't make videos at this time. Sitting down is better because of my abdomen, but it's because I have more food in my system. You probably already know what I'm talking about. You've been through a lot of... Here's another part that I want to describe. It's not just going through things that are difficult to get through. Like, let's just say you all of a sudden someone takes money from your credit card. You have to phone the credit card company. You have to switch everything. It might take you, half your day or more, or it could even drag on for a week. Those types of things. And then you have that happen and something at the same time. And I feel like it's God forcing us and building character. And these are the things that I go through all the time, and it's what has helped me. Because when God decides to draw near you, because you may be able to choose God and then he draws near. We don't know for sure. I think it's both ways, but God does choose us. I know that. It's hard to explain, isn't it? That it's for a reason. Because before we were lost. And I was very lost. I was really lost. So I hope that you're in this position where you suddenly feel that you've gone through all these things, and if something is thrown your way, you're able to deal with it effectively, like to the point where something is thrown at you, you don't panic anymore. You don't, you just take it patiently. I think the Bible kind of stresses that, and it builds character, and it really helps us. And I think in the end, it helps us help other people, teach them lessons and so forth. I'm not having an easy time in this video right now. It's always my abdomen. What was I going to say? That's what I have to say about that. Going through tough times, you know what it's like and what it creates in you. And you may just be at the beginning of it and not understand. I'm studying prevention strategies in addictions counseling right now. And one of them is to replace the idea of, there's a theory, and I think it's probably right, besides, the three needs that we have, food, water, and it says sex. The other is a need to want to change your consciousness. He always gets loud when I do this. To alter your consciousness. It's just a normal thing. And so you have to choose something. Oh man, I'm lost. Let me pace for a second. He's distracting me. By choosing something other than a drug, and it has to be like something that you can work, say, with your hands, that you can get involved in. It helps you build character, right? And it has to be something that you're gonna like. So I feel I'm at the point where I understand why this suffering, and because I understand it, why, it doesn't mean that that's going to stop. It doesn't mean that God isn't going to still put us through trials. I'm not saying he's testing us, or sorry, tempting us. God doesn't tempt. There are reasons why we go through certain things. Working with, so I'm done with that. Working with dementia patients, it's challenging. It's challenging, it really is. You know, it's like a spectrum. There's all sorts of levels of. You couldn't even put it into words. It's not really measurable. It's strange because I realize and I know that we're living in the end times. I know we are. You can see it all around us by the fig tree, right? We shall know it, right? When it puts forth its leaves or buds or whatever it says, and we see everything happening around us, and you know what? I can't help but look at dementia and be like, it wasn't like this before. It wasn't like this before. Like, let's say in the 1950s and prior to that. Listen, guys, these nursing homes are full of them. So, if I'm in one nursing home in one place, right? There's a nursing home probably, say, in a regular populated area, you know, just down the street from it. There's going to be another one, and that one's going to be full of them too. It's insane. And it lets me know that these are the end days. Dementia is a horrific thing, and it's hard to see that someone's going through that. And it's our foods. It's the stuff in our food. It's things like cigarettes. It's probably smelling gasoline being burned, you know, in cars. It's like spray cans. It's everything together. It's preservatives in foods and whatever chemicals that they spray in fields and whatever else. You know, chemtrails are not a conspiracy theory. People spray chemicals all the time, but they're saying, you know, is there anything else that they're not telling us? These are probably the reasons why there's so many dementia patients, and it's unfortunate. And I can't imagine the cost on the I feel really nervous in my abdomen. I'm really sick in these things, man. It's hard to make a video and not talk about it, you know, when it's like it's near acute. It probably is acute right now. My abdomen, the way it feels, but it will go away. It's from trying to stay still in a video with acute abdominal pain. Just give me a second. It's got to end somewhere. The cost on the economy, massive. Things like diabetes, which those things are preventable, but alright, I'm going to get to, it's unfortunate to see, it really is, but it's really something. Listen, I'm sure born-again Christians follow my YouTube channel, and I pray that, number one, can you pray for me for the economy in Canada, or in my case, go to a nursing home and see if you can go and volunteer. Go and talk to them, even if they don't understand. I think they appreciate it. Sometimes they do. There are people with dementia that do understand, can hear, may have trouble expressing themselves, but they can, like, you know, their thinking skills are right on. Just give me a sec here. This is the last thing. glory to God for letting me do the things that I'm doing in my life. I have a lot of responsibility, man. Like, I never thought this would ever happen. And what I mean by these things you go through, it builds character. And, you know, a lot of people in the body of Christ were former addicts. I was an addict. I was a benzodiazepine addict. I would have a whole bottle of temazepam, if you know what that is. I was an addict. So what? So are some of you. I would have an entire bottle in a weekend of that. That's how bad it was. That was many years ago, but it's unfortunate what happens to addicts too. Like, their lives are ruined for the time that they're in that. You know, you lose all your momentum, your positive attitude, wanting to accomplish things and do things. Alright, I'm going to talk about this Trump thing and I'm going to end the video. I didn't expect to feel this way, and I understand why I don't make videos at this time of night. So please pray for me, because I do recognize that he is the Antichrist. Do you understand? He fits the picture perfectly. He is. He's doing this to the world, but he's picking on Canada. I kind of get why he's doing, and I'll cover that first. The deficit that he's talking about, subsidizing, Canada is supplying you with the things that you use. Our oil and resources, our uranium, a lot of different things, and Trump understands this. And every time he talks about it, he goes from 50 billion to 100 to 150 to I watched it. He's a liar. He's a liar. But he may have a point. Because of Justin Trudeau, it's corrupt. The people are still the same. People aren't standing up. And Iran, India, and China, I believe, have got a foothold in Canada. Probably in the western, in like Vancouver and all that, and I understand. And the derivatives that they, or, you know, like the main chemicals, not in its full form, China sends to Canada, like fentanyl. And Trump wants to stop that. And to be honest, I wish, actually, even if he is the Antichrist, to help our immigration problem. It's just, we have 500,000 people who are overstayed their green card. Kick them out. Kick them out. We have people on the street. I see tents. I go out and I see tents in little small forests, and I talked a long time ago helping a guy, an Indian guy, native Indian. Bad policies, you know, like assisted death and all that, but we're not subsidizing, and he wants fairness. There's no such thing. You know, if it by the way, the deficit's like the difference. If we trade $1 trillion, we're up by 50 billion. That's all. But that's normal. That happens from year to year. It goes to them, it goes to us, you know, it's just unpredictable. You can't, it's hard to make it exactly even. In any case, I don't know, maybe he's eyeing our resources. He lies. If you don't believe me, this is just another one of his provable lies. He says that Canada or sorry, the U.S. has the most oil in the world. No, they don't. It's like 4 or 5 on the top 10 list. Maybe for production. Canada has the 3rd and could move into 1st, at least 2nd. There'll be more than Saudi Arabia because of the Arctic. That's another reason. These are the last moves of history. I know it. If he's the Antichrist, it has to be. It reminds me of, like, what's Canada going to do? Tariff for tariff, dollar for dollar. It's going to cause a lot of damage. And the only reason our economy is the way it is because of Justin Trudeau. If I didn't realize that Donald Trump was the literal Antichrist of the Bible, I would have been happy saying, help us in some way. But I'm on disability. And I'm trying to work my way up into the real workforce. That's what I've been trying to do for a long time now. And I do have a small business, but in any case, I need help still. And those things, can you understand how those things would weigh on me? Just give me a second. So please pray for me. We went from the richest place I believe we were number 1 for quite some time. And the Trudeau government brought us to the worst in the West. Can you imagine that? The housing cost, imagine like the average cost, $730,000. And then you compare what the average salary is. I believe it's 17 times less. I think that's what I heard. I could be wrong. It reminds me of this. He's doing it to the world. He's going to do it to the world. He's going to enrich. Because in the 1870s to 1913, it enriched us. The guy he's rude, calls people names, he lies more times than you can count. I do believe he has NPD. I was going to say that before. I believe he does. He's a bully. You have to see compilations to understand. Not just one video, you have to see several in a row to understand who he really is. And you know, you're going to say this is good tactics and good negotiating, and it's all he's doing. It's hurting a lot of people. It's making stressing out a lot of people. Anyways, what else do I have to say? I can understand, like man, Canada has to do a lot to, there's a lot Canada has to do. I believe it's hard to understand because it's the end times. I don't trust any leaders, but if I did trust a single leader in this world, it would either be, you know, the one from Argentina, but from Canada, Pierre Poilievre. I believe, you know, you haven't seen like a guy like that in a long time. In any case, immigration would have to be completely gutted. Send them as many people as you can back who don't belong here, and strengthen the borders, stop the drugs. That they have to do. And our military, I want to say this, because he is, are we really riding their coattails? I don't, maybe yes and no. There's a strong argument for both. World War I, we were the most devastating soldiers. You can ask Adolf Hitler. We're the most devastating soldiers of World War I. We stopped an entire front from breaking down, which could have ended up differently. in a gas attack. World War II, we won many battles. The Canadians were the most famous. It was no different in World War II. We took Rome. Do you know that? But because of political reasons, Eisenhower ordered that the Americans had to take Rome, and took our glory for it. Go read that, go look that up. We took the only European capital, Canada did. Everywhere they put Canada in World War II, they would station their stormtroopers, their parachute brigades, because we had a reputation. When 9/11 happened, and it's no different than any other time, we always jump to the US side militarily. We were in Afghanistan for what, 20 years or whatever it was? So who knows, man? These are the end times. Anything can happen. Kingdom against kingdom. Big trade, that's all I can say. And he's doing it to China and Mexico. I don't know why he's focusing on us the way he is. Maybe because we have the most resources. I have no idea. I don't know. Does he want to starve out our economy? And it's right where I'm in the best spot in my life. That's okay. Come, Lord, come.